So Tony, the last time that we got together was it last year?
1 year ago,
One
in
year?
Anaheim.
Okay, and at that booth there was some beautiful Fairchild swag, but there wasn't a Fairchild there, was there?
We had a 670 prototype there that was marked Telefunken at that time.
Okay, so there, but
The first 5 were made marked Telefunken
Okay.
because I didn't know that I would be able to use the Fairchild name.
okay, and did you keep those for yourself, or are they out there in the wild?
2 of them are out in the wild, and 3 of them are in studio demos.
Okay, so do you think that one is going to become like a first edition Charizard?
Possibly, yes.
So it's very exciting because not only do you have Fairchild 670s here, you also have a new 660.
Correct.
Okay, and tell us a little bit about that.
In the last year, since last NAMM, we went into production with the 660. The first 2 units are here at the booth. We'll be shipping probably another 20 660s and 20 670s in April.
Okay.
This was something that I built for me. I wanted a Fairchild, and I didn't want to spend 150 grand on a vintage original.
Yes.
So instead of investing the money in a vintage original, I threw caution to the wind during the pandemic and decided to basically make a go at it.
Yes.
In a chance conversation with Avid, who has the only registration with USPTO for the Fairchild name, I asked them if they were willing to coexist and cooperate with a company that only was doing analog devices.
Okay.
And their answer was yes. So incredibly cool for a company like Avid to kind of give us the green light and say, if you want to make analog devices, go right ahead.
So is their trademark for Fairchild recording?
It's for the plug-in.
The plug-in, the Bomb Factory plug-in from back in the day.
Yeah.
So is there talks of doing a new version of a plug-in with some beautiful new Fairchild rig?
Not yet.
Okay.
However, I will tell you that because I've been incredibly interested in all of the history to do with Fairchild, I have recently purchased a bunch of original Fairchild spring reverbs
I saw that.
that I feel ought to be a plug-in.
Yes. You're the right guy for that because I actually owned one that I'm pretty sure you have now, and I could never find schematics for it, so I never got it going.
Yep. Yeah, I was really lucky to get 3 mint Fairchild spring reverbs.
Yep.
And I would really like to make a plug-in of it and maybe eventually make analog reverbs for Fairchild.
If you were going to tell someone off the street, besides stereo, besides lateral and vertical, what is the difference in a 660 and a 670 tonality-wise to your ears?
A lot of people think that the 660 is half a 670.
Yes.
And it really isn't.
Yes.
It sounds different. It has more punch. It distorts more than a 670. It has, I don't know if gription is a word, but it seems to have, you have maybe greater control over the amount of change. It's more bandwidth as far as the amount of changing the threshold.
Yes.
So you can also adjust on the front panel, which will basically turn it from compressing to limiting, changes the curve.
Yes.
It's been a miracle that in the last year we were able to kind of get the 660 together and get it here. The first 2 sound unbelievable. I got here to LA and I had a cancellation on where I was going to originally do my demo, and I ended up at a friend's studio. This guy, Nick Townsend.
Okay.
He has a VMS 80 cutting lathe, and we actually used a 670, a new 670 for the first time to cut a lacquer right as I got into LA. And that was like a Nirvana moment for me.
I saw that as it went down. You know, I watched your journey across the country. It was all very exciting. And then I saw you get it was over at Infrasonic, right?
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm real interested in doing things always the old-fashioned way. This equipment doesn't fly very well unless it's boxed in a huge crate, and to ship 4 or 6 of these devices from Connecticut to California. I just drive back and forth. The past few years has been great to stop in Nashville, Colorado, and California, and and just kind of do it in a couple of days. So I'm constantly back and forth, and if anyone out there wants a demonstration of Fairchild 660 or 670, you need to look me up.
I gotta say, your explanation of what makes the difference in tonality between the 660 and the 670, it was exactly what I was hearing yesterday. You know, the 670 to me is like a very, you know, golden, warm glow.
Really creates a richness where it, whatever you put into it, whether you're compressing or not, what comes out the other side really feels like it's been mastered.
Yeah.
It really adds a nice overall tonality to whatever's going through the mix bus. It's a special device.
It really is, but that 660, it makes your hair stand up a little bit. It pushes a little bit harder.
Yeah.
And I actually, you know, me and Martine walked out of here and he said, if you bought one, what were you going to buy? I said, 660 all day. You know, I would buy a pair of those 660s.
It's not quantity, it's quality.
Yep.
It's paying homage to the original design, NAMM, and making sure that it is built the way he would have built it, and not cutting any corners.
Yes, absolutely. So, you know, it's very, very cool what you got going on, and you know, we've talked a little bit about the other stuff that's coming up, and I'm very excited for you guys to see that.
Yeah. A lot of good things to come, both with Fairchild and with Telefunken.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time today.
You could check out our first little project with Telefunken as a plug-in is the Audio Punks. It's an echo mixer that we just licensed with them.
I saw that actually.
And that's like our first stab at doing a project in the digital domain.
Is it going well?
Yeah. So I'm hoping that I might be able to, like, you know, talk to Avid and find out if there's a way to interest them with the Spring Reverb project.
Yay.
Because the Audio Punks plugin for the Telefunken Spring Reverb came out great.
Great.
So
awesome.
Calibrate this when you first get it.
Okay.
And there's like a test point right here on this capacitor and this main bus wire here. Okay. So you'd take a multimeter and you would, you know, connect those 2 points, and then you would adjust down here this third knob.
Okay.
You would adjust that to 240 volts. That's the default voltage setting for the unit. Okay. From there, you can go and make sure the meters are all calibrated, and that's sort of like the starting position.
Okay.
There's a lot of engineers that are famous for tweaking that.
Would that control the DC threshold?
Yeah.
No.
DC threshold is there.
That one. Okay.
Yeah, the other two knobs.
Okay. So when it comes to something like this, I'm assuming that there were things that you guys ran into that just didn't exist anymore. Things like transformers and stuff like that.
Well, we made them.
Absolutely. So, you know, when it comes to that, are you hand wiring all those yourself?
Yes, transformers.
Okay. Awesome. So are those done on a, you know, automatic winder, or are you manually winding those?
No, automatic.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was about to say. So that's absolutely incredible. And, you know, when it came to tubes and stuff like that, did you have to get anything custom made, or were those relatively...
Telefunken has basically been selling the JJ tubes as Telefunken Black Diamond tubes.
Yes.
For, going on about 20 years.
Yes.
We've had great luck with them, and we're thrilled that JJ makes a 6386, a very new tube that, you know, there are 8 of them in each 670.
Absolutely.
And 4 of them in each 660. But we've had great luck with the 6386. It's been a great tube. I think it sounds fantastic. There's some talk on the internet about how they're not good. I believe maybe when they first started making them, for a while, it had like a bad rap. But the more and more they make, the better and better they get.
Yeah.
And we haven't had a single one. None of the 6386s in the 20 units we've made have had a problem. The only tube occasionally that we have a problem with is the GZ34 rectifier.
Okay.
In that we like using a new old stock GZ34 because the newer ones don't really like handling this much current.
Understood. You know, I've always noticed something about very new compressors like this. You know, I've come across quite a few where they're using one 6386 and kind of just pummeling it with level, and they end up not sounding like a Fairchild in any way, shape, or form. How are the four 6386s utilized in each side of this?
Aren't they in parallel, the 46386?
So the first two, no, they are cross.
Okay.
No, so each channel has 4 tubes,
Yep.
and so we use this side is connected to this side, and this side is connected to this side. So it's done for the better balancing them.
Okay, interesting, very cool. So, when it comes to your work on this, what is the most time-consuming aspect of it? Is it the wiring?
No, I think everything is time consuming because we have to wind transformers. Of course, it's automatic winding, but you have to take that copper wire, clean it, solder it, then hide it. It all takes time. You have to manually solder each joint, then take each wire, lead it where it's needed another time, solder manually each joint. No, as you can see, it's not possible to do in any automatic way here. So,
Well, it's beautiful, and you did a great job. You should be very proud.
thank you.
Thank you so much.